Casa Systems, for quite some time now, has been following the trajectory of service provider adoption of NFV-based solutions, especially as that trajectory has steepened and has accelerated. So our announcement really is all about Casa Systems, how Casa Systems, along with our ecosystem of partners, a growing set of partners, is helping to transform how service delivery networks are built, helping to transform how service delivery networks operate and behave, and helping to transform how innovation is actually delivered to these networks. In fact, one of the focuses this week with Casa and our customers is talking about our 5G ready solutions. We're actually delivering, as part of a larger ecosystem of partners, 5G solutions to our customers. So service providers don't need to wait to the bitter end when all of the requirements are finalized. They can begin getting their networks ready and taking the necessary steps, whether that's densification, whether that's multi-dimensional scaling, whether that's setting themselves to be able to support narrowband IoT solutions. We have solutions for them. Given that, we recognize the critical importance of interoperability, and hence Casa Systems is taking a truly agnostic, a truly best of breed approach to enabling the intrinsic value in that ecosystem of innovation. So what we recognize is it's no longer sufficient to develop innovation constrained within your four walls or the four walls of your company or R&D center, but rather to bring that to the table of ecosystem partners and have a broader collaboration around innovation so that we can deliver these solutions to the industry and to our customers in an efficient and effective way.
So you hit on some of the major 5G use cases there, massive Internet of Things connectivity as well as enhanced mobile broadband.
Right.
So as operators work to expand the capacity that they offer, how's Casa helping them do that in a cost-effective manner?
That's a good question. I think we'd all agree that it's a very changing time in the service provider space. Bandwidth is increasing dramatically year over year, yet the revenue curve is not keeping up with the cost to deliver that bandwidth growth. So service providers are looking for networks that are more elastic, more agile, simpler, and more flexible. So what Casa Systems has done is Casa Systems has built a multi-service virtualized portfolio that's built around our software framework called Axiom. And what Axiom does is it allows for the decomposition of both fixed and mobile network functions. What Axiom does is it decomposes these network functions into modular building blocks, kind of like Legos, for network slices, so they can be applied to a particular application in a very efficient and effective way. We call this at Casa Systems NFV 2.0, and we believe that it moves us past, it allows us to leapfrog over the NFV 1.0 solutions that are currently on the market, where monolithic software programs, quite honestly, that are written for purpose-built hardware, are simply ported onto COTS hardware. In our view, this is not reimagining network functions. This is not reimagining how a software-centric network needs to behave today and in the future. This is not reimagining the agility that's required to support IoT applications. This is simply moving a piece of software and running it on a different piece of hardware. So Casa Systems is in an enviable position given our telco and cable legacy. As we further move into mobility, we're able to converge through software the network as well as the access layer.
You also mentioned in there this need to add network density in support of all these applications that are starting to be realized.
Right.
A big part of that, obviously, small cells.
That's right.
A lot of the operators are struggling to scale that process, but as they are working to do that, how is Casa facilitating that?
That's a great question. So clearly, both the mobile network operators and the cable broadband infrastructure providers, as well as the telcos, are densifying their network. If you take a look at many different sources of data, mobile data in particular is going to increase sevenfold between now and 2021, and most of that data is moving to the edge of the network. So in order to be able to accommodate that data and that bandwidth, service providers are densifying their network. Casa has a pretty broad portfolio for cable, telco, and mobile, including densification products. So we have a common platform that could be distributed to the edge of the network that can support small cells, that can support fiber optic backhaul, that can support Ethernet. We can leverage some of our cable assets, including DOCSIS 3.1, to provide efficient backhaul to small cells. So our customers have asked us, despite the fact that we're very agnostic, as I've already mentioned, many of our customers are asking us to build them radio solutions. So we have a suite of radio solutions, both indoor and outdoor, and for enterprise. This week we're announcing a new outdoor pico or microcell, both at 2 watts and 5 watts. And what it really does is it converges both fixed and mobile use cases and provides, among other things, a really effective transformation of the transport layer across multiple technologies and multiple access endpoints.
I want to go off on a bit of a tangent here, Paul, but you mentioned something that's really compelling to me, and this is the idea of edge interoperability, an imperative to deliver these 5G applications,
Right.
but also something that is being driven forward by open source hardware and open source software through a partner ecosystem.
Right.
It's become clear that this is the way forward, right? This open, collaborative approach.
Right. I think that it goes back to it's absolutely imperative, right? The fact of the matter is innovation needs to be part of a larger ecosystem of developers. In a virtualized environment, in a software-centric environment, the stage gate changes, right? It's no longer a particular company develops, a product and brings it through its stage gates and launches it into the market, but it's rather so it's not defining a product and then eventually launching it in the market. The product is designed almost real time in collaboration with your customer, in collaboration with ecosystem partners. All of that has to happen real time, including upgrades and enhancements and being able to do different things like policies that get triggered based on certain events. So it's a highly collaborative co-development environment. And so the whole process changes. And what's so fascinating about it is Casa's roots are grounded in software. That's how we've differentiated ourselves since the founding of the company in 2003. And so we're very confident, given our software core competence, to be able to plug into our customers and future customers' organizations, because arguably they're going to have to change, and become much more software centric, and the way vendors and providers interface with them is going to change pretty dramatically.
So as you go on this journey with your clients towards virtualizing their network functions and gaining software control of the network, what are some of the pain points that you see crop up repeatedly, both technologically or organizationally?
So organizationally, it's some of the things I just said. You have organizations that have grown up in a very hardware-centric world. The stage gates, among other things, are so grounded in that environment. The ways of working the value systems, all of those sort of airy-fairy things that make up an organization, but nonetheless are very important, culture as it were, has to change. And in order for it to change, there's a couple different approaches you can take. You could take a very slow and incremental approach, trying to cajole people and to build a lot of consensus. And on the one hand, you could look at that humanistically as a very worthy approach. But changes of this sort really require step functions, and it really requires the courage of leadership to turn the ship. And you see this happening with AT&T, for example, under John Donovan's leadership. And there's many other examples as well. From a technology point of view, it's what I've talked about. It's about being able to come pre-integrated with an ecosystem of partners so that you're plug and play, so that you're interoperable with a number of players. In a software world, let alone in a previous hardware world, no service provider dedicated their entire infrastructure and solutions to one provider. They spread that across several different providers. That's going to be magnified in a software-centric world. And so being able to come pre-integrated, being able to come pre-tested, being able to troubleshoot real time, solution develop real time is really, really critical.
And there you mentioned network slicing. We can do this in a very coarse way now with APNs, but it's time consuming and it's costly and it's just a pain. In terms of looking forward at 5G and this vision of being able to connect any cloud to any device
Right.
over a bespoke data pipe that is just perfectly tailored for the requirements of that service, isn't this really how you unlock the value of 5G across the board, from your NB-IoT on one side to mission critical communications on the other side?
Absolutely, and that gets back to my comments about NFV 2.0 and 1.0. Many of the big iron companies, quite honestly, many other players are simply taking a gigantic piece of hardware and running it on a COT server and calling it a day and saying we're virtualized. Casa had the good fortune of being able to start from scratch and build from the ground up. We didn't have any hardware solutions that we had to cannibalize a revenue stream to. So in terms of NFV 2.0 and building this software framework that enables, among other things, multi-dimensional scaling is what's necessary to accomplish what you just said. If you think of a network today, for example, where encryption and decryption occurs at many different nodes and locations throughout the network. And in the case of a voice call, or in the case of video streaming, where the packets are really, really tiny, but there's a lot of them, going through all of those different points of encryption and decryption really chokes down legacy solutions. With Casa's solution, where we can, in one single software framework, put a security capability as well as the other VNFs and distribute it to the edge of the network and optimize pipeline processing on an application or network slice basis is what it's going to take. In order to ultimately reach that nirvana, it's also going to take OSS, BSS systems, billing systems in particular, self-serve portals, all of those things that customers interface with that sort of need to be plug and play and need to operate seamlessly across that. So from a Casa point of view, the NFV 2.0 solution we have does exactly what you're talking about, but it also has standard interfaces northbound so we can plug into partner OSS BSS systems or customer OSS BSS systems, as well as other orchestration capabilities to be able to do to do the totality of what you're saying. So what they can do first and foremost is go to our website. Our website will give them access to a lot of information about our vision, our mission, where we're heading, what our solutions are. There's also downloadable assets that viewers can download to read more, including case studies with customers and stuff like that. And then in that literature, there's information to be able to contact, if it's appropriate, a marketing resource or a sales resource. We actually, on the website, have essentially an email capability that people can, request a meeting, can request more information, can send us information, and it goes into an inbox that's further disseminated internally. So I would encourage people to do that, and then we can get them to the right people. So I think the easiest way to do that is for viewers to visit our website, which is www.casa-systems.com. There's a wealth of information there, including downloadable assets where they can read about the company, our products, where we're heading, where we've been. And from there, they can contact us as well. So I think that's the best bet.
We really appreciate you taking the time to share your point of view and tell us about Casa Systems.
Thank you so much. It's great meeting you.